Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana from coast to coast.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Berbice 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio. This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio 99.1 FM.
Good evening. Welcome to this evening's newscast on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. Without further ado, let's get to the news in detail. Chartered accountant and attorney at law Christopher Ram is of the firm conviction that the arrangement for the relinquishment of the 2016 Stabroek Block production sharing agreement is not only reckless but absolutely irresponsible. Expounding on his perspective, Ram explained that the initial period of a prospecting license is 4 years. Such license is subject to 2 renewals of 3 years each. The lawyer further noted that the standard provision in the Petroleum Act is that on an application for first renewal at the end of the 4 years, the company is required to give up 50% of the block granted, and on an application for the second renewal, which is at the end of 7 years, it is required to give up 25% of the remaining concession. He added that at the end of the 10 years, which is the end of the third renewal period, the company has to give up all portion of the block not subject to a production license. In other news, almost $500 million worth in the laptops procured for teachers under the One Laptop Per Teacher project, which was implemented under the David Granger-led APNU-AFC administration, were found to be damaged or defunct. The damaged computers were part of 9,609 laptops that were purchased by the e-government unit established under the PPPC government in 2015. The PPPC had paid $1.6 billion for the Chinese branded computers in 2015 for their One Laptop Per Family project, but demitted office shortly after. The computer program was rebranded by the Granger administration as the One Laptop Per Teacher project and distributed to teachers across the country when the APNU-AFC administration took office a year later. It was, however, discovered that hundreds of the computers were damaged and not functioning. The issue came up for discussion before the Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee yesterday, where it was noted that no steps were taken by the government to be compensated for $495 million worth of damaged computers bought from the Chinese company. And moving on, the government has been pleading with oil and gas companies to hire workers who have been laid off by Kaieteur. At least this was what the minister within the Ministry of Public Works, Dudat Indar, revealed. He was at the time attending a career fair hosted by the Guyana Shore Base Inc. at the Eidflood Community Center ground. He had told DPI that his government is encouraging companies in the oil industry to seek out areas that would allow persons who have been laid off by Kaieteur to be employed. The fair, currently being hosted by the shore base, which began on Saturday at the Providence Stadium, is seeking to recruit 150 persons to work with the company. Indar had stated that the shore base had approached the government for advice on where it would look for workers to fill those spots. The minister said that he told them that the best place to recruit persons is from this catchment area where Kaieteur had lost workers. And now let's tell you, with over $160 million already spent on the Chedi Jagan International Airport's expansion project, the government is prepared to spend even more money to facilitate rehabilitation and construction works at the country's main port of entry. The ministry noted that this project is estimated to cost $612.5 million Guyana dollars. Bidding will be constructed through the National Competitive Bidding Procedure specified in the Procurement Act of 2003. Bids for this project are slated to open on October 21st, 2021. Police are investigating the alleged rape of 3 teenagers, 15 and 17-year-old brothers, and a 16-year-old boy from Quarantine Region 6. The man whom the allegations were leveled against was arrested on Sunday and is assisting with the investigations. Reports are that during 2020 and between January 1st, 2021 and October 8, 2021, the act was allegedly committed on the boys against their will by the 39-year-old suspect. The victims have told the police that the suspect is known to them personally and that they would frequent his home upon his request to do chores. Permission was granted by their parents. However, on several occasions, separately, the victims alleged that they were threatened at knife point by the suspect before he committed the act. They stated that they were scared to confide in anyone about what took place at the house because of the threats from the suspect. And now let's tell you, a 32-year-old man is now in police custody after he crashed a stolen car into a bridge which is still being constructed during a police chase at Plaisance, East Coast Demerara, at around 21 hours 45 on Sunday. The suspect had stolen the car and other items from a 29-year-old male technician and his girlfriend at Industry. According to investigators, the victim borrowed his uncle's car and went to Industry, where he parked and secured the car on the southern side of the main road. The technician and his girlfriend then went across the road in the vicinity of the arch. The couple was approached by two men, one armed with a silver and black handgun. The armed suspect relieved the couple of 2 gold chains and $3,000 cash. It is not clear how the second suspect escaped or if the loot was recovered. And to wrap things up this evening, let's tell you that for the third quarter of 2021, inflows into the Natural Resource Fund amounted to $19.5 billion, comprising profit oil totaling $16.6 billion and royalties to the tune of $2.5 billion. This is according to the latest financial report on the fund, which is prepared and published by the central bank. The report noted that since its inception, the fund, which is held at the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, has received 81 million Ghana dollars from 7 lifts of profit oil and 9.8 million Ghana dollars from royalties. And with that, we've come to the end of this evening's newscast. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening. Coming up next is a short presentation, as usual, on the oil and gas sector in Guyana, followed by the National Outlook with GHK Lal, and at 19 hours 20, a rebroadcast of last night's edition of the Glenn Lal Show, Tell It As It Is.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your